the stuff that's happened to me since Mary Lou's died, it's that kind of weird thing of once you know you've experienced something, and I've seen her, I've heard her, and I've felt her, and I can't not have those experiences. So that's sort of totally changed my mindset about all this, even though I don't understand it. So yeah, in terms of seeing her, that was probably the first thing that happened, and it was quite early days. So I remember when it first started happening, and I was actually, because again, I was very logical at this point, or much more logical than I am now, sort of trying to work out how is this happening. Am I just sort of piecing together old photographs and seeing an image of it in front of my face when I choose to? Because that's sort of what it felt like. And then I had an experience. I astral traveled without knowing what astral travel was. I just had this really weird experience that frightened the life out. Well, I say it frightened the life out of me. It didn't. I was a little bit scared, but I was more curious. And after that episode happened, I literally wrote it word for word, my quick memory in my notes in my phone, and sent it to a friend who's a medium and just said, like, what's just happened to me? And it was her who told me about astral travel. So when I looked up astral travel, it made complete sense. That's exactly what had happened. And interestingly, it had happened because I'd woken up in the middle of the night, couldn't get back to sleep. So popped on a little meditation to try and help me get back to sleep. And of course, for those of you who know about astral travel, one of the key ways to be able to do this is to sort of early hours of the morning, get yourself into a meditative state, and maybe you'll drift off. So without me planning to, that's exactly what happened. And during that astral travel experience, I saw her then very, very clearly. And it's as if, so my interpretation of that was that she was on the other side, obviously. And it's as if she was welcoming, I felt like she was welcoming children who were coming across to the other side. And I could hear her really clearly. And she said, sometimes it can feel a bit mum, and sometimes it can feel a bit dad. And she just kind of looked at me as if to say, I'm busy. Like, what are you doing here disturbing me? And then when I kind of came back from the travel situation, if you like, whatever the words are for that, I then just saw her, like, absolutely vividly. So all those almost like kaleidoscope pictures that I'd mentioned in the beginning that had been sort of trying to come together suddenly came together in a way that I just knew. I knew that I'd just seen her without any doubt at all. And then in terms of feeling her, again, that was in bed one night, and I thought my husband had reached over and given me a hug in the middle of the night, which frankly would have been a bit weird because he likes his sleep, so that would have been unusual. And I sort of lay there feeling the hug. I had my back to him thinking, that's nice, okay, strange, but okay. And then I turned over and he was facing the other way, and I'd not felt him move, and I thought, I don't think that was you, actually. I think that was something else. And then I lay there again and I felt it again, because I was a bit more aware of things this next time. I felt it again, really purposely, if you like. And I knew Chris hadn't moved. And I just took, although I couldn't see it, I just kind of knew. It's one of those things, well, you'll know, as I mean, you just know, don't you? You know when sometimes you've had a bit of an experience that's probably nothing. But when you know that you've had something, then you know. So therefore, there's been loads, but they're the two that I think of most fondly, because they were quite in the early days, so they were really, really reassuring. What I get now more is I do get signs. I've not had as much lately, if I'm honest, but I'm kind of okay with that, because I know that if I need to call her in, then she'll give me a sign of some description. I get quite a lot in number sequences, so I will have a spell of looking at number plates and those kind of talking to me. And then if I want to connect with her directly, I do that via the cards. So that was how the whole card thing started. I've got a lovely little note.
Tell us